1944, the choreographer and dancer Martha Graham premiered the now iconic Appalachian Spring at the Library of Congress. She had asked the American composer Aaron Copland to write the score. He won the Pulitzer Prize, and their collaboration made history.
Jed Wheeler at Peak Performances and I were attracted to the idea of celebrating the 75th anniversary of Appalachian Spring by commissioning something completely new, but that would be a companion piece that would relate in some way to the 20th century classic.
After a performance of Appalachian Spring, with the original set pieces by Noguchi, the Martha Graham Dance Company performed the new dance, created by composer Augusta Read Thomas and choreographer Troy Schumacher. It was commissioned by Peak Performances at Montclair State University. The music for both works was performed live by the renowned International Contemporary Ensemble.
Appalachian Spring is iconic because the artists were determined to represent American optimism, hope for the future. This was 1942-43. It was during the difficult days of World War II. Because both of these artists, Aaron Copland and Martha Graham, were modernists that knew American artistic revolution to simplify things and say things in a very stripped down, non-decorative way. They created a work that distills so much of the American conversation, who we are as a country, into these 8 characters and this beautiful, simple American score.
Janet Alber, now the artistic director of the Martha Graham Dance Company, worked directly with the famed choreographer as one of her principal dancers in the 1970s.
Martha Graham revolutionized dance in the 1930s. And if anybody asks you, what exactly did Martha Graham do? You can say, she took natural gesture, the things that we do unconsciously when we're sad or when we're happy, euphoric, stressed, and she took those gestures and those ways that we embody how we feel and turned them into a dance language.
Peak Performances and Jed Wheeler gave choreographer Troy Schumacher and composer Augusta Read Thomas the task of creating an homage to Appalachian Spring. The result is a work called The Auditions.
Going into this, we had, I had really no idea what they were expecting this ballet to look like. It was kind of both scary and really freeing, and I could just go in there and I felt very comfortable using my impulses.
Troy Schumacher is a soloist with the New York City Ballet. He's also the founder and director of Ballet Collective in New York and has become one of his generation's most acclaimed choreographers.
Several years ago, Jediah Wheeler emailed me and said he was really interested in possibly working together, and was there anything that would interest me to do? And I wrote back instantly saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, dance. I'd love to write for dance. And he wrote back right away and said, got it.
Augusta Read Thomas is a Grammy-winning composer based in Chicago. Her music has been commissioned and performed by orchestras and soloists around the world. A couple of years ago, in fact, she was the most widely performed living composer in America.
The composer and I, Augusta, we spent a lot of time watching new and old videos of Appalachian Spring, and we just kind of digested that all. One moment that really kind of stood out to me as somewhat heartbreaking in Appalachian Spring is there's this moment where the husband walks to the downstage left corner of the stage, and he's just standing at this fence kind of looking out, as to what's next, where do I go next? It's that, insatiable human experience. And that's both inspiring and depressing about why are we always trying to be pioneers? Why are we always trying to find what's next?
So the concept that Troy and I developed for our piece, which is called The Auditions, is a piece that exists in a way in 2 planes. There's some other sphere, whether it's a spiritual place, a religious place, an interior space. It could be really read differently by different members of the audience, but there's some other space. and the people on Earth, so to speak, are auditioning to get up to that other space. And that's why it's called The Auditions. So on the one hand, it's a very serious piece. We're talking about questing. On the other hand, it's quite humorous because down on Earth you have all these dancers that are competing with each other and dancing hard and virtuosically to win the slot to go up to this other space.
All of the collaborators for this production are extraordinary. Of course, it's Aaron Copland and Martha Graham and Troy Schumacher and Augusta Read Thomas, but also accompanying us, the International Contemporary Ensemble, ICE, is an extraordinary collaboration. So you'll hear the classic Appalachian Spring score and this world premiere score by Gusty, performed by some of the top musicians in the world, along with the top dancers in the world, the Martha Graham Dance Company.